Good? Okay, so welcome to the Pink Panther podcast. Today I have a very exciting guest joining me, Mrs. Gina Tronco. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
My family and I have known you and your family for quite some time
Yes.
now, and we've admired what you've done for the community, and your story is very inspirational.
Thank
so
you.
I'm sure you've done a ton of these interviews, and so I'm thankful that you're here with me today. But for all my guests, I like to start with my interviews with a few intro questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And I know that you're an AHN parent. You didn't go here, but you have 3 daughters that went here.
I do, yeah.
So how was your experience as
It was
a parent
wonderful.
of 3 daughters?
I loved when my girls came here. I love the all-girl Catholic education, the small classrooms. I love what they gave my girls. They gave them a lot of confidence. They're all in college now, but when the girls always have to give up and do a talk in school, they're always very confident, and that's because of their days here at Holy Names.
Definitely true. And as a mom of 3 daughters, what are some words of wisdom you would give to AHN students and AHN parents?
A lot of patience with girls, with the 3 girls. My girls have always been great. They never really gave us a problem, but they talk a lot, so you just have to listen. I mean, you come from a family of 3 girls.
Definitely.
It's a lot of talking all the time. And even now when they're in college, it's still a lot of talking. It's a lot of FaceTime and texts and calls. So I just listen. That's all you can do.
I like that, patience.
Oh.
All right, so are we ready to get into the interview questions?
Let's do it.
Okay, so could you please tell me when you were diagnosed and at what age?
Yes, it was April 27th of 2018, and I was 42.
And what stage were you diagnosed with?
They staged me between a 2 and 3 because I had traveled to my lymph nodes from my breast.
And so did you see like any visible changes? Like could
No.
you see the lumps? You didn't feel anything different?
No, the way I found it, initially I detected it, was I had an itch and I just happened to reach over and I felt a lump that I had never felt before that shouldn't have been there.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Just itching and like you're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, exactly. I was driving and I was like, what the heck is this?
So then did that make you want to call and be like, I should go in and get a mammogram?
Yes. At that point, I called my doctor and I went in and he said he thought it was just a muscle that I had pulled, not to worry about it, but he was going to set me up for a mammogram. And in the meantime, I saw my primary care who had breast cancer twice, and she said she wasn't worried about it either. So I wasn't worried about it for a bit. And then the mammogram came along a week later, and they were like, you really can't leave right now. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, you have to see the doctor. And I thought that was weird. I'm like, it's just a muscle or a swollen lymph gland node or something. And then they said, well, we don't know what it is, but you have to be back here at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I said, okay. And that's when it all started for a biopsy at 8 o'clock the next morning.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Especially because everybody was telling you, just waving it off, like, oh, it's a muscle.
Yeah, I figured if the gynecologist and my primary were like, oh, it's just a swollen lymph node or a muscle, I was good.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you first received the news when they were like 100% you do have breast cancer?
I was petrified because my girls at that time were still in high school. And middle school, kind of in between. Livy was in 8th grade. The other 2 were 9th and 11th. And I wasn't sure what it was going to hold for their future. I wasn't sure if this was genetic. I wasn't sure if they were going to get it. I was scared for them. I was scared for my sister, for everybody who's now related to me. I didn't know what to do. And I wasn't sure how they were going to take the news. It's scary news to try to give 3 young girls.
Yeah.
I was pretty scared. When I first got it.
And then so for your support network, how did you overcome it or find it?
Well, I come from a big Italian family.
Yeah.
So my sister, my parents, my sister-in-laws, my in-laws, my girls, Alex, everybody just all came together, and the Holy Names family came together. And while I was going through chemo and radiation, they did food trains. So they would bring dinner to me every night for the kids. So it was great. Everybody really stepped up and helped out when I needed it because my treatments were in Boston. So there'd be times I was there twice a week. When I come home, there would be a nice meal there for the kids.
Nice.
So it was wonderful.
Mrs. Fritz, I was talking to her, and she said you guys had a funny club.
Yes.
Called, like the B cup or the bra. I don't remember the name.
It's we had this recliner that
Yes.
went around. It's Mrs. Fritz had it, and then it went around. Then I picked it up from someone, and that's the recliner we all recovered in from our surgeries. And then when I was done with it, I gave it to someone else. So it's a recliner that went around and kind of signed the bottom. And
what was the name of your Loudonville?
I don't remember.
Group?
Was it the B Cup Club? I don't remember.
I think she said something along the lines of that, and she was laughing.
Yeah,
she was like, "It was a good club."
Yes, it was a good club. We all got together one day and we showed each other our scars.
Yeah, she said that.
Yep.
And she said we were throwing the bras in the fire or
Yeah.
something. One of your friends had a party for that or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So
can you go into detail about your treatment process?
Sure. I did 4 rounds of what they call AC chemo, and I did 12 rounds of Taxol chemo. I had a double mastectomy, and I did 16 rounds of radiation.
And how long was that? All that?
That took about 9-10 months to do everything.
You said Taxol chemo?
Taxol.
Taxol chemo?
Yeah. It's just the combination of chemo that they use. So AC was one. Taxol's a different kind of chemo. The AC was rougher on me than the Taxol.
Got it. And for your surgery, if you don't mind me asking,
Mhm.
did you choose to have implants?
I did. And they did it at the same time. So I was able to have reconstruction at the same time as the mastectomy, which really helped. I didn't have to do the spacers. I didn't have to go back every week and have them filled up.
That's what Mrs. Mendelsohn was saying. She had to go back and do the fillers and
Yep. So I didn't have a lot of room for larger ones, so they put the smallest ones that they made in me. And that's what I have.
And everything's good since?
Everything's good since. I actually go to the doctor Thursday for my 6-month checkup.
Okay.
I go every 6 months, so Thursday is my next
great.
appointment. Yeah.
And then were there any programs or services offered to you that would help with the treatment process?
There were, but I didn't do any of them.
And you were in Boston for your whole treatment process. So how was that going back and forth?
It was great. It wasn't great, but it was great because I love Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex and I would go and we'd have dinner. So we'd have a date night.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd get chemo the next morning. And then I'd just chill in the hotel room the rest of the day. But when I felt better, we'd come home.
Yeah.
So we used it as a date night, even though I was not feeling great.
Right.
But so that's Boston has a very special place in my heart. They were really great with my treatment, and we love it. And now my daughter's there at school, so we go and visit her.
That's
so it's
awesome.
wonderful.
Yeah, I love it there too.
Yeah.
Did you face any other obstacles during your treatment process?
A week after my surgery, I woke up one morning and my left breast was purple and distorted and double the size of my right side. And my drains were still in, and my drains were all backed up. There was nothing coming out of them. So I got a nice ambulance ride to Boston Hospital, to Mass General, and I had to have another surgery because there was a hematoma in there, and they had to cut me back open, clean out all the backed up blood, and then sew me back up. So that was actually more painful than the original surgery.
Interesting. So is that a pretty common reaction?
They said
to
it's
have?
not.
No? Okay.
They said it's not that common.
Okay, so that probably was pretty scary.
That was very scary.
Yeah.
Wake up and have it all
Yeah.
different color and
It's the last
size.
thing you want to...
Yes. And the drains were the worst part.
I know. I had drains for my surgery, too. They were
not fun.
Ugly.
Yeah.
And they would hold them up in front of my face, too. And I'm like, I don't want to see that. No, thank you.
No.
Okay, and my last question. What message would you like to provide to women in the community?
Well, now that I know more about the disease, I know that cancer was not here to hurt me. I know it was here to teach us something. There's something that is not going on that's correcting your body. Mm-hmm. And cancer is here to be like, okay, you need to slow down. You need to figure out what's going on, and you need to fix it. Whether that's you need to be more spiritual, you need to get more exercise, you need to meditate more, less stress, but you have to figure out what it's teaching you.
Yeah, I really like that perspective.
Yeah,
that's really
so it's
nice.
not here to hurt you, which is what I try to tell people. I get a call probably 3 times a month of people who've just been diagnosed. Are like, they're scared.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to keep them,
give them the support.
Yeah, and keep them calm, because 90% of the outcome is in your brain and how you think.
Have you had any like other lifestyle changes that you weren't doing before that's helped you?
Before I was healthy, eating healthy before, but now I am more, everything has to be organic, grass-fed, grass-finished.
Like meditation too,
meditation.
like stress, all that stuff.
I'm getting back into the meditation. I gotten out of it for a while. When you feel good, you kind of forget, and then you have to come back, be like, all right, I have to get back to that.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you have a family history?
I did not.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
No. And I got genetic testing done, and I didn't have any genetics. It was all hormone-fed cancer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I know I have a family history. That's why I'm always doing research. And Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
meeting with me.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.